I truly warn you and I advise you from running to tafsirs and reading a bit here and a bit there. But rather you need to look carefully at the statements and words mentioned. What is authentic and what is baseless? What is true and what is false? I've seen a number of ayat that this has occurred in some commentaries. There are some ayat in which I have not mentioned their tafsir. This is because they have no tafsir that I can give. Whether the ayah has been explained in depth already by Allah, or whether it's a situation in which I have no such knowledge. There is no further need for me to discuss all of these ayat in detail. No, our book that we have put together for you is to be a comprehensive checking of all of the other tafsirs and a domination over the other tafsirs to give you the most correct, the most authentic, the most clear, the most obvious positions so you can then understand and benefit from the Qur'an rather than being concerned and confused. This is our affair in this regard, and Allah is the one that gives us success in this affair. Close quote. This is the end of the introduction of Imam Ibn Al-Jawzi rahimahullah regarding his tafsir. You see how he lays everything out, discusses everything and says, this is what you can expect from me. This is what I'm going to try to get done for you. He himself is looking at the other tafsir literature and saying, this is what's wrong. This is what the problems are with them. You have some that are too long. You're never going to finish it. You have some that are too short and you don't have all the beneficial points that you need inside. And that's why I've been forced to do this one. Because he has a much larger tafsir than this. And he looked at his own tafsir and thought, this is too big. And his general understanding, now this tells you where the laymen were at in his time period. Remember when he said in the beginning that I've tried to keep this short so you can memorize it. That tells you the level of the layman back then. We've tried to keep it short so you can memorize it. It's only 4 volumes. We do a volume a year, 4 years. Right? But he's looking at the matter very carefully regarding tafsir. And he's trying to introduce you and bring you into this knowledge of understanding what the speech of Allah means. He starts now by saying, quote, let us discuss the passage and begin with our investigation into the speech of Allah. Allah has told us at the time when we want to recite Qur'an by the words of the Exalted One, فَإِذَا قَرَأَتَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. When you go to recite or read the Qur'an, seek refuge in Allah from the accursed shaitan. Surah Al-Nahl, the 16th surah, ayah 98. What this means is, when you want to recite the Qur'an, you should resort to istia'dhah. And the meaning of the statement a'udhu is when you seek safety or you seek refuge in something or someone. Close quote. So Shaykh al-Islam, Imam Ibn Al-Jawzi rahimahullah, he starts by talking about the isti'adhah. Isti'adhah is to say the statement a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. That's isti'adhah. Often in Arabic they have mukhtasarat, like these shortened terms that they use for things. So the isti'adhah is to say a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Now for those that can understand, because isti'adhah sounds like a'udhu, it's easier enough to know, okay, so when he talks now in the next few passages about the basmala, it's easy enough for you to know he's referring to Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Yes? So the isti'adhah, he says this should be done when one is going to read the Qur'an, and the meaning of a'udhu is to seek refuge or safety in someone or something. Right? Whereas a'udhu means the thing is trying to seek refuge in you or it wants you. This is why it's dangerous when you recite a'udhu billah, not a'udhu, because a'udhu means the thing is seeking refuge in you or it wants you. A'udhu billah, Allah seeks refuge in me or wants me to protect him from the shaitan. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Have to be careful. These things are important. Because remember what we said before. The Qur'an was sent down. وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. It was sent down with tajweed. That's how it was revealed. So it wasn't just revealed. Tajweed is part of the revelatory phenomenon. It's part of the phenomenological experience of the Qur'an. Translation, it's part of what got sent down. So the tafsir was sent down. The understanding of it with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes. The tajweed was sent down as well. You can't escape it. You can't escape it. And that's why Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhu, they said this, and it's quite an impactful statement. They said, it is more beloved to us that someone should recite the Qur'an correctly rather than memorize some of its letters first. Why? That statement's in the Lum'atul I'tiqad. Why? Because if you've done hifz of the Qur'an, you've memorized the whole Qur'an, and you've memorized it with Iyaka na'budu, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Sirata lazina, Walad-Zalin. If you have memorized the Qur'an, you've finished it, do you know what you have to do when you complete and you sit with a proper alim of tajweed? You have to do it again. You have to do hifz twice. You have to do 2 mushafs. The first one, which you did wrong, and inshallah Allah will reward you for your effort, but it was done wrong. And that puts in jeopardy the people that are behind you and are there that understand, because sometimes the meanings of words can be changed. And then secondly, you have to do it again because you've missed out on reciting it as it was revealed. And that is the concern that you must take. And that's why the revelation of the Qur'an is important. So the alimi starts off in this capacity. Imam Ibn Al-Jawzi rahimahullah, he then says, quote, let us now look at the expression Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim in relation to it being called the basmala. Ibn Umar has said that this expression was sent down with every surah. But the ulama have differed in discussion regarding this statement of the basmala. Is it an ayah in and of itself independent or a header? Imam Ahmad rahimahullah has mentioned 2 statements in this regard. Some other scholars have disagreed. Is the basmala part of the Fatihah or not? Imam Ahmad has discussed the 2 positions regarding this. As far as the one that says that the basmala is part of Surah Al-Fatihah, they're going to say that it is necessary to recite it in the salah whenever someone recites Surah Al-Fatihah. As far as the one who did not hold this position, then he would say that the recital of the basmala in the salah is sunnah. Whereas Imam Malik says it is not praiseworthy to recite it in salah, the basmala. There is a difference of opinion regarding whether it is to be recited out loud in the salah. And there are some scholars from Imam Ahmad's students who've said it is not the sunnah to recite the basmala out loud. This is the position of Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, and Ibn Mas'ud, and Ammar ibn Yasir, and Ibn Al-Mughaffal, and Ibn Al-Zubayr, and Ibn Abbas. And it is also stated by Sufyan al-Thawri, Malik ibn Anas, Abu Hanifa, and Abu Ubaid. Imam Shafi'ii held the position that the basmala out loud is sunnah. This has been narrated from Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, Ata ibn Rabah, Tawus, and Mujahid. Close quote. Now this point had to do with the discussion of whether the basmala is a header or whether it is an ayah by itself. All of the scholars are agreed that every single basmala in the Qur'an is a header. It is a sort of an imperial stamp at the beginning of every single surah where it appears in the Qur'an. They're all agreed that it's a header in every single surah of the Qur'an. So you see the basmala before Surah Al-Fatihah, the basmala before Surah Al-Imran. That is a header, that is an announcement that what's coming next is from Allah. What's coming next is from Allah. The dispute is the basmala with regards to Surah Al-Fatihah. Is the basmala a header for Surah Al-Fatihah, or is the basmala an ayah from Surah Al-Fatihah? Imams Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Malik ibn Anas, and Abu Hanifa and Nu'man ibn Thabit say that the basmala is a header. It is not an ayah, it is a header. And because it is a header, it is recited but quietly in loud salah. Because the Fatiha in a loud salah is recited out loud. But the basmala is not part of the Fatiha, it is a header. It is a revelatory stamp. So when you are in a masjid where they are Hanafis, where they are Hanbalis, where they are Malikis, the basmala in a loud salah, Fajr, Maghrib, Isha, is quiet. It is not recited out loud. So as you will hear, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, you would hear before, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is what happens before, because it's considered as part of Surah Al-Fatihah by the Shafi'is. So when you will hear the Shafi'is, they will start in their qira'ah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. That's how you know that the reciter is Shafi'i. Because he's starting with that ayah. Why? Because he believes that ayah, it's not a header. It's part of Surah Al-Fatihah. And whether you hold that it's a header or it's part of Surah Al-Fatihah, no one's in dispute that it's part of the Qur'an. There's no one saying the basmala is not part of the Qur'an. It's what the hukm that it holds for the Fatiha. For those that hold that it's a header, that it is an announcement of Allah's speech to come next, they in the loud salah will recite it quietly because it is not part of the Fatiha. But those that hold that it is will have to recite it out loud because it's part of the Fatiha. So when you look in mushafs, you can often tell in a mushaf what country it's coming from or who it's from, because you'll see, like for example, in this mushaf here, this mushaf, there's a number 1 next to the basmala. There's a number 1. Why? Because they say the basmala is part of the Fatiha. I wonder where this is printed. Damascus. Most of the people in Damascus are Shafi'is. Shafi'is. In Egypt, you find the ayah here, صِرَاطَ الَّذِينَ أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ, and then an ayah marker. That's the end of ayah 6. Then غَيَّرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ is the beginning of ayah 7. And there's no number next to the basmala. Why? Well, that is either a mushaf from North Africa, the Hijaz and Arabiya, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. Often just by listening to someone's qira'ah in the salah, you can find out what they are and what position they hold. You want to listen to Imam Al-Husri, right? And you go on the website, it's got over 200 qurra of Qur'an. You say, yeah, let me listen to Imam Al-Husri's Fatiha. You click on it. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. It's from Egypt. You must be a Shafi'i.